key to achieving that, right, is, as Hulk and I were talking about in the green room, is you need to give Scary a pick that does something, okay? We need the Nocturnes, we need the Poppies, we don't necessarily need the Maokais, right? If we want Scary to be proactive, give this man a proactive champion, as we are going through the first few bans. Milio, Rel, LeBlanc on one side, the Jace, the Crastiel special, Jace has been removed, and the Rumble as well, which has been doing a whole lot of damage up in that top lane, and then Tristana ban might make you a bit happy, or you were pretty surprised that people were letting that pick through.
I was surprised that that got let through. Not only that, it got let through for quite a long time until Blue 2, and Kai'Sa rightfully getting first pick now, not going to be a Blue 4 option. Kabum snapping that one up. Again, Scary, rather, Raven has looked good on the pick, but Trajan, I love how you mentioned that point about Scary, because since coming in, he has looked like the head of the Kabum snake as far as any sort of strategy is concerned. And so, even though Maokai is a fantastic facilitator jungler, I like him on something a little bit more mid-game, a little bit more proactive, as you say, especially, again, up against a Loud that we know is going to play proactive in their own right.
Yeah, for sure. Croc onto the Sejuani, make no mistake, he is going to be all over the map on this pick regardless. And then they had the Xayah hovered. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one just picked up. It's been the standard answer to the Kai'Sa for a little while, but there's also the Aphelios that we never was happy to pilot. So either one of these bot laners will be comfortable for him down there. I do want to see what Seos picks as well, because he has given us a bit more diversity. You know, he's had things like the Thresh, a bit more of the variety, but still definitely favoring the kind of engaged, the melee CC heavy picks.
I don't want to talk about hovers. Okay, Ivern makes a little bit more sense. It's not a proactive pick, but I will say, Trajan, we've been talking about picking up OPs on the patch. Kai'Sa, Ivern, Azir is a really strong core. Crastiel has been the biggest carry on Kabum, doing over 30% of the team's damage so far this split. He has been playing honestly brilliantly compared to what you might expect from a player on Kabum. So yes, it's not the early proactive playmaker for Scary, but I think that their draft so far is extremely solid, so I'm willing to let it slide.
Yeah, just the draft, nameplates off, score records off. We love the first three picks out of Kabum, and let's see what they can round it out with in the second half as we go into bans. The Nautilus denied. Rel, of course, has already been taken away. We'll see if Redbird is allowed to go on something like a Leona or an Alistar, or if either of them are taken away. And then for Kabum, they're looking to ban out the solo lane, so we're thinking about Robo specialist picks and the Jax, and maybe something that Tenants has used for comfort as well.
Now, we do get into a bit of an interesting scenario as well, where I'm expecting support to be the focus from Loud on the second half of this ban phase. For Kabum, it should be mid laners' answers into that Azir, or maybe just targeting out Robo's champion pool. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Renekton ban come out. But as far as Kabum's composition is concerned, where are they going to get frontline? Lonely has not been the biggest tank enjoyer in the CBLOL so far. He's got one game of Cassante, one game of Sion, and outside of that, it's been more things like the Renekton, the Jace, the Jax, the Olaf, those style of champions. But when you're playing Kai'Sa, Azir, and Ivern, I want to see something that can create space and really step up in front and, you know, have a bit of a meatball fight with the Sejuani Rakan.
Yeah, exactly. And Lonely has shown us that he's willing to play like that in the early weeks. I remember his Renekton being a spearhead into the fights, leading the charge into enemy teams. And if you can fill that role again today, that might be good for them. But looks like Robo might be about to take the Croc away. And this is the quintessential Robo is here to stay pick. And as it gets locked in, we'll see what Lonely's answer to that is going to be. Anything that can actually 1v1 out the Renekton since the Jax has been taken away.
Yeah, I think this Renekton pick is to the surprise of absolutely nobody, and now with the Renekton in his hands as well, it discourages tank picks to come through from Kabum, as Renekton does dominate them frequently in the laning phase. Now, we have seen some teams pick something like the Ornn into it anyway, and just say, okay, I'm going to get wrecked in lane, but Lonely knows that the 1v1 is important. If you let Robo get going too much on this champion, he will destroy you. So here's that front line coming through. We get some Leona, we get some Gnar. I think that should be enough, Trajan. And now Loud needs some damage, some big magic damage to get through what is going to be a stalwart Kabum comp.
Yeah, I'm honestly really liking the Kabum comp they've put together here. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it is not a proactive jungler for Scary, but of course we are happy to see if he's able to branch out and show us more out of the Ivern, and it fits so well as the comp they've built. The Talia as answer for Tinons here, so a bit roam heavy, potentially, maybe looking to affect the side lanes more than his own.
Yeah, the Talia a bit more vintage Tinones. We saw this in Split 1 a lot more out of this player. The roaming towards sides, playing for Robo, playing for Root. It looks like Loud is returning to their roots with this pick. But I'm with you, Trajan. I think Kabum has found themselves a really nice composition. Great team fighting across the board. If Lonely can perform in the 1v1, you've got threat in the 4-1 on the split push. And Loud, they've got their work cut out for them. In the earlier stages of the game, I think you've got to try to attack this mid jungle in particular. That way you can move towards the side lanes and create an advantage. My only concern is that I have seen Robo on this Renekton against Gnar feast like a crocodile on a water buffalo at the hole. So that is my one worry. Lonely, you've got to be able to absorb this pressure.
Yeah.
What a metaphor.
How do you feel about it, Dia? Give us the
I mean, I feel really good about the whole water buffalo thing.
Loving that.
I mean, with playoffs form Robo approaching, there is absolutely reason to be afraid, especially with Tinones and Stalia. I think you guys have highlighted something absolutely wonderful, where this roaming, not support, but support-ish style play from Tinones can really shine with cross-map presence out of the mid lane. On the other side, I do love me an Ivern, Treasure.
Yeah, Ivern certainly has its place here, and I like what you said about Tinones, the roaming there. It maybe falls back more towards the style that Loud won 2 back-to-back championships with. Earlier in this split, Tinones has had to do a lot of carrying. His backpack has been very full throughout split number 2, but right now it's not necessarily the focus for them. With a Talia and they have Robo on a pick that can carry, they have Root on a pick that can carry. Perhaps we are going back to the enabling supporting Tinones, and this maybe is a further sign of Loud entering playoffs mode as we head towards the back half of the split. But we're on to the Rift now, ready to wrap up this game number 4. Let's see if Kabum can give Loud a real run for their money here.
There's definitely no denying that Loud has got themselves quite a bit of comfort. Root as well on one of his favorite champions, most played on the split. The Xayah, Robo, like you said, that Renekton. But we saw a meta against Comfort in our match of the week earlier. Didn't go so well for the Comfort comp.
No.
Maybe Loud will be able to step it up. Granted, no, Kabum might be a bit of a softer opponent than Pain Gaming was, but still, hey, a good draft can definitely make a big difference. And Trajan, I love how you mentioned that back-to-back titles. Loud, we've said that they're one of these teams that it's shaping up to be a definitive top 4. I would say that Loud is definitively 4th out of those top 4, but they are looking for that three-peat that no CBLOL team has ever done.
They are on the cusp of history to be made. Robo, of course, waiting to equal up BRTT's championship record as well, looking for that 6th one. Tinones looking for his 5th. A whole lot of records teetering on this Loud season as to whether they can get things in order before they have to go up against that devastating top 3 waiting above them in the standings. And then Kabum, as we said before, the stakes are fairly low for them here. We're just trying to see if there is life to be found, if there is something to salvage from this split for them. And we're going to be looking at Scary, looking at Crastiel, potentially Lonely in the 1v1 versus Robo mainly. See if they can get this game started off right there.
Yes, top matchup is definitely going to be where my eyes are drawn in the early stages of the game. Just when Robo's on Renekton, you can never underestimate the power of this pick and the effect that it can have. And Croc going for brilliant jungle pathing. We've seen this in other global leagues. Ivern, his fastest clear is to start topside, not use a smite, and then move towards bot. It's extremely fast, but junglers have started to exploit with this early invade pathing. This is brilliant stuff from the jungler of Loud.
Rock well aware of what's going on here, and Scary now rotating back up towards the top side is going to find a very empty blue buff camp. Might still find the Sejuani working on those, on the Gromp, I should say, and this could get a little hairy with Lonely nearby. Rock's still level 3, doesn't have a blue buff for Scary. He doesn't want to take this one. Both his lanes are kind of getting pushed around right now. There's not much prior to work with.
It's really not, and the mid and bottom lane matchup should win in isolation for Loud. Xayah just so oppressive into that Kai'Sa, and Talia old school counter into the Azir. So it means that with this jungle pressure, Croc is able to pretty freely play towards topside, which, again, if this is the critical matchup in the early stages, we've seen these kind of dives before out of Loud. Robo has a full Fury bar, Trajan.
Oh, we've seen him win the 1 versus 2s. Now he's in a 2 versus 1. Let's see if he can get it done onto Lonely. Open up with a stun. Croc following in with the Arctic Assault. Looks for the key. Robo secures it. It's a first blood for Croc. Smooth as butter up in the top lane.
Yeah, Lonely just trying to stay under the tower. Doesn't want to give up that massive stacking wave. But his jungler just can't support, and Kabum, it falls apart in the early game. You lose the wave anyway when you die. Think Lonely needed to bite the bullet, but you got to give Croc all the credit for this play. Brilliant jungle pathing nets an early advantage for himself and the first blood for the team.
We love to see it, and we've been talking so much about how Robo needs to continue on that road to redemption. Croc himself has had a fairly up and down season. Split 1 was very strong, more consistent than we expected from him, but start of Split 2, we were kind of regressing back to the old Yep Croc days. And now we are still seeing that there is a very formidable jungle mind in there and a very effective early game player.
Yeah, and look at this in the bottom side, 2v2 as well. Root and Seos, they're going to be able to get themselves a nice crash and a good base. Loud, they can start playing for this dragon. And again, when you've got something like the Talia that can constantly push in this Azir, Tino's already having a CS lead. 3 winning lanes can make the game really hard to play no matter how meta your draft is.
Yeah, it's pretty tough once the pressure's running against you, trying to break out of that pressure. Lonely, trying to get a wave crashed in. He does have Scary waiting for him up in this top side as well. So a fair amount of focus onto this top lane from both sides. And Robo going in could have found himself in a slightly baited situation. Lonely finds the stun. Scary with the follow-up Q with the root. Robo, does he have a way out of this one? The Gnar passive stacking up. Not quite enough range to finish the job.
Robo didn't even need to flash. He's got the teleport as well to get back in. Trajan, he's probably getting close to level 6. We saw a 1v2 from Robo last week against an Ivern matchup. It was against Red with FNB on the Cassante. This man is very dangerous to gank when he hits that 6. So, boom, they took their chance, but didn't hit the mark, and now that opens up the bottom lane for potential pressure. Seos walking in, controlling vision, and Raven needs to be careful.
Yep, Seos making absolutely sure they know what's going on here. Mid's going great, top's going great. Bot lane, no pressure on them to really force things. They do have that Xayah to scale into the late game, to be an answer to the Kai'Sa hard engage with Redbird as well. As we are approaching level 6 in the solo lanes, you can see Robo's just hit it, Tino's as well with the Weaver's Wall, and those side lanes could be under even more danger from the Loud mid laner.
And it's exactly as we said, letting Loud have free reign of the game is just so dangerous because this team, when they are ahead, might be the best one in the CBLOL just with their ability to really put their foot on the gas pedal. And I love the way that they're attacking this Ivern, not allowing Scary to have space whatsoever. I mean, Ivern already suffers in early jungle skirmishes pre-6, and with the losing lanes and no support coming from that, it means he basically just has to give everything to Croc. CS advantage open up, the dive come through, now the dragon being taken. Loud, 1.5 thousand gold in the lead. This is a great early game from them.
Engaged by Redbird onto an ultless route, but Raven without the range to follow up, and now Redbird's the one taking a lot of damage from the Blade Caller on the way out. Root and Seos still very comfortable down there. Scary is on the bot side river, but working on the camps. And plenty of vision down there for Loud Spot Duo. They'll know what's coming if they have further aggression to deal with.
Just don't really win this 2v2. Kai'Sa Leona, they're a strong duo, but not really at this point in the game. It's hard to contend with the Xayah Rakan. And Root, Seos, they know that. Scary's here, but Redbird's low.
He's very low, so is Seos, but he's got back to safety. Scary's there to stop anything going worse. For Redbird now, no HP, no mana. We've just got to pull the recall, I think, friend.
Yeah, and Root and Seos, they know that they're fine. I mean, there's just no threat here at all. And no objective to fight for on the bottom side either means that priority doesn't amount to too much. We're really looking at this Herald in 30 seconds, and we've already talked about the skirmish potential of Loud's composition. With Lonely going Mega as well, there's even threat of a potential dive. Scary was in the bottom lane, and Croc is 6 if they wanted to go for it.
Onto that top side blue again. Scary rotating over. Will discover what's going on before the buff disappears, I wager. And Redbird's here too.
Respect.
They could find a punish. Tino's as though rotating over. It's about to get a bit messy in this top side of the jungle, I think. Hawkrock finds the smite.
Redbird's
doesn't
here.
Get rooted up. Robo in the 1 versus 2 right now. Ivan rotating over. Tino's waiting if he needs to do anything. But Loud will just skulk away. Buff secured. And the lead continues to grow.
Yeah, really nicely done right there from Kabum. A great cover from Redbird, showing that he is still a CBLOL champion until this moment in time.
He's trying to cover the whole river by himself and doesn't have any support right now. Robo diving in to find some more, but Redbird flashing away. Lonely thinking about it, and Scary's back in range for the shield. Loud, are they going too deep, or have they found the pick? Redbird almost back to tower. A flash from Robo will secure that kill, and Loud, all they have to do now is get out safe. Crastiel goes in, gets stunned, doesn't even drop the ultimate, does get the Empress Divide up, and Lonely, if he hits Mega, he might be able to make something work. Raven dives in, there's the Gnar against the wall, and Kabum held out long enough. They find the kills, and there's a Herald to pick up too.
Yeah, but look at the bottom lane. Root free farming these places. It's going to be a lot of creeps denied. 2 for 2, and the Herald traded for this bottom farm. I think it's going to be a pretty even Trajan as, Crastiel, he saw the highlight reel play, but the Talia minefield really stifling the aggression.
Stuns him on the way over. It really delays that. Doesn't look quite so cool when you have to wait an extra second to press the button. And Kabum still find themselves about 3,000 gold behind. We have seen a glimmer what the comp can do, and is a replay of that fight.
It's like one of those plays where your brain worked a little bit faster than your fingers. Obviously, it was just stunned up, but was pretty goofy looking as Redbird, first of all, just way too far ahead of his team. And I mean, the re-engage here is so over-aggressive. I think Kabum could win this fight harder if Redbird's just a bit more patient. But despite that, they have the rotation over from their AD carry, meaning that they have the 4v4 despite the early kill. And Crastiel, again, sees the highlight reel play, gets it a bit delayed, and by that point, the damage is done. Loud are able to equalize the fight, but Kabum picking up a couple of their own means that they can still get the objective.
Yep, we can see that CC laid by Kabum on the front foot maybe in future fights. They definitely have those tools to play with. But for now, it is still Loud in control, and they're the ones making the proactive moves. Kabum playing much more reactive. And it's a comp that, you know, if Loud was playing against Fluxu, I'd be like, Fluxu are fine. You know, they've got Kai'Sa, they've got Azir scaling up. They'll be alright in the team fights, but with Kabum, we just haven't seen that dependability later on.
I will say though, Trajan, even then, 3,000 gold in 10 minutes is pretty substantial no matter who you are. Loud is
true.
very far ahead of this game. And remember when I said the thing about a Water Buffalo? Yeah, let's check out that top matchup real quick. 30 CS in the lead is Robo. He is dominating Lonely, and it's allowing Croc to focus all of his attention towards Root.
Yeah, this is the clip of the Water Buffalo that gets cut from the David Attenborough documentary for being a bit too graphic. It's not really not really showable on civilized television. That's what's going on up there. Robo definitely still seems to be activated to this degree where he is able to have so much pressure in the 1v1 and take it to the fights as we see him engaging onto Lonely once again. Does get stunned up, and there's a Mega Gnar to pull the full disengage if needed, I think. But Lonely, it will just have to eat that health disadvantage.
The only thing that's missing from this being a full-on David Attenborough nature documentary is Robo not getting the solo kill yet, but he's got Fury. Lonely needs to be careful. It might be a bait for Scary on the way, but I genuinely don't think that they can kill Robo, and I was just going to back off anyway.
Yeah, Loud are happy to pick up the objective on the far side of the map with no opposite jungler. Croc as well. Look at all this red vision down there, man. Loud know exactly what's going on this side of the map. Root has all the information he needs.
Yeah, Loud has turned on map packs this game. This is unreal. I mean, they just have so much pressure. Scary, we talked about him being the playmaker for Kabum. He's been completely shut out of this game. Loud has had full information as to this Ivern's whereabouts 24/7, and he's not been able to get involved.
Yeah, Kabum rotate onto the top side. We'll get some extra gold to funnel into Raven's pocket. On this Kai'Sa, he's got the static shiv, he can start clearing out those waves, but still a ways to go before he becomes that real team fight threat, as Root about to be gifted full first turret gold for himself in response.
I mean, but even with Kabum having the Herald, Loud still is faster to the play because for how much longer Root was there. Raven had to take a full base and then run top before the Herald drop. All the while, Root working down that tower. That is a solo turret take over 10 CS per minute. 0-0-0 Kai'Sa. Who cares that he doesn't have kills? This guy is so fed. And Trajan, Root, want to take a minute to talk about this player. Even through Loud's struggles at times this split, he has been brilliant. At times, I've even called him Elo held. Root has been so consistent, a rock in the bot lane for Loud.
Yeah, Root certainly has stepped up. He has been, as you say, the most consistent member. We saw him performing well at MSI International and always propping up the fights when Tinones was having a bad game or put on a strange draft or Robo was just roboing it up 0-4 by 15 minutes, you know. Root was always there to cover Loud, and they are still 8-5. They have those 5 losses, those 3 earned in the first 3 games that will weigh them down in the standings until the end of the split. But right now, the power seems to be certainly there. If they can just make it into a matchup with any strong team, there will always be a threat.
And you know, Trajan, the beautiful thing about Loud is I think roboing it up could either be called an 0-4 or a 4-0 game. It really just depends. Like that's what makes Loud so fun to watch sometimes.
Yeah, it's like bi-weekly, you know. Is it twice a week? Is it every 2 weeks? You just don't know. It's the beauty of English as a language.
It's always the same.
We can just say stuff.
It's always the same in the week, right? Like, he either has 2, like, stinker robo games, or he has 2 brilliant robo games. Never 1-1. I don't know what this phenomenon is, but, like, clearly a very, like, dopamine player. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's got that momentum. As soon as he leaves the Rift on Sunday, it potentially goes back to 0, and we just don't know who's coming out next. But for now, it does seem to be maximum 4-0 Robo. He is in a 1 versus 2 against Scary and Lonely right now. Will dive back to his tower. Not looking for the spicy play just yet. No pressure on him to do so, as Loud are running the game so far.
Come on, Robo, you gotta go for that 1v2. I don't know if it's a good play, but it's fun for us to watch, especially because we're talking about your rather explosive nature, but fine. I understand the respect being paid, I suppose. Playing good League of Legends is the goal of these players.
I get wanting to win, I suppose.
I mean,
don't want to lose 4th. Like, okay, I suppose, man. Like, sure,
fine,
but
fair enough. I get it. We'll just wait.
Just go join T1 already, damn.
Yeah. they might need it. They've been looking a little rough over the LCK, to be honest. Maybe they need some spice.
Bit of Robo magic coming in. That's the solution to T1. It's definitely not that Faker got subbed out. It's that Robo's not on the team.
They just need a little bit of like psychotic CBLOL energy. That would fix all of their problems, and I don't want to hear anyone tell me otherwise.
Yeah, we will not be reading responses. We will not be taking questions at this time. Neither will Loud, as they head straight onto the Herald with no contest for Kabum in the works.
Trajan, now I understand why at the beginning of the split you said that maybe Robo's time on Loud has been sunsetting. You just wanted to see him go to LCK and spread the gospel of CBLOL top lane.
It's not that he's being dropped, it's that he's moving up. He's ascending to run the LCK as his destiny has been ever since, you know? He just wins this last one, equals BRTT's record, and then goes and wins some LCK titles to equal
That's exactly it. We couldn't have him replacing BRTT as the GOAT too quickly, right? So we just had to have him like ascend to a new plane.
Exactly. So it's only fair, right? Okay, we're gonna leave something over here as we've seen some more towers fall for Loud. They are now about 5,000 gold ahead. We have moved somewhat into podcast mode as the game has just slowed down to the point where Loud just doesn't really have any threat against them. Kabum has a great team fight comp, but they're so far back that the team fights aren't really a good idea.
I mean, there is a dragon spawning. Maybe we'll get some action around that. It is sole point for Loud, but I do want to say I'm impressed at the restraint we've seen from Loud. They have very quietly grown their advantage from 3,000 the last time we saw kills to now being 5,000. It's just a really clean, calm, cool, and collected mid-game, and a good thing to see from a team that, again, we oftentimes liken to a bit of craziness.
Yeah, as Tinones now tries to get that play started on to Lonely. A flash over the Weaver's wall and a Mega Nart to disengage. Keeps the Kabum top planer standing with the Dragon live. We'll likely see the rotation through. Again, that massive vision line comes down. Rekrestiel at least is in a position to threaten on the far side of the map.
Objective bounties, baby! Azir farming those ones up on top side. He's already got one. Robo should be able to deny the second one, but there's quite a few creeps denied, so it's something for Kabum. Not a whole lot, but hey, when you're down sole point and 5,000 gold in 17 minutes, you're looking for what you can get.
Yeah, we take those for sure. I do enjoy the fact that Loud versus Kabum, the heavily mismatched matchup, they are very calm, they are very controlled, they're very considered, they think about their plays, and they make them very well. And in the game recently versus Pain, it was just action, it was messy, it was shenanigans, it was complete craziness all the time. As Lonely again, caught in the 1 versus 2, but this time he doesn't have the tools to escape. Doesn't have the flash. Croc will flash in himself to get the start. Oh, look at Kabum! They've come in! The troops have come through in force, and Lonely just about gets taken down. but it's traded for the jungler. Kabum really tried their best to keep him alive, and Redbro wants to keep the fight going. Raven coming around the side. They can find some DPS. It might be doable, but Louder out.
That was a really critical dodge on the solar flare from Robo right there. Stun lands, and he is dead, but Raven not able to get in range. Loud, they didn't have their bottom lane, so Kabum was able to trade it back a little bit, but, I mean, they're just not strong enough to take down anybody else in the exchange, and with Lonely dropping, it just ends up being an even play, and now Tinones is fishing for Crastiel. Does need to be careful. Gary's behind.
Yeah, Scary's gone for this, and Tinones, I imagine, is now channeling Recall, probably. Oh, he's just going to sit. But Robo and
Look, Loud's coming.
Chaos are coming down. Oh, we've got a 3 versus 2, perhaps. Can Scary and Crastiel get their way out of here? They have flashes. You won't need them. That was a bit dicey. Luckily, what they know didn't hurt them, I guess. That it didn't pick a fight with who's in the brush.
I'm actually really... Tinones waited so long. I was waiting for the pop Scary on the recall, but Scary actually interrupted his recall to run away because of Seos and Robo coming down. I think they knew the jig was up right there and get out of dodge.
Tinones might have had a shop open as now an aggressive move onto Robo. Again, slices and dices out of danger. And with Daisy popping up as well, will get mashed up. And Ultimate goes on cooldown.
And just here's the thing with Kabum, right, Trajan, is, again, they're not getting blasted on the surface level. They're 3 to 4 in kills, rather. You've 1 tower to 3. Sure, they're down a couple dragons, but the problem is they just haven't really had any angle at any sort of proactive play, and they're just bleeding gold around the rift and really making things difficult, as this is quite the conundrum we find ourselves in.
Okay. One of these secret agent Loud members just posted up on the wrong side of the map
right now.
and then just walking away. Like,
look,
okay,
week
well,
one,
I was
Croc
there.
would have sent it right there, though. Like, you know he would have.
He would have, but now he is nope, Croc. For now, he is nope. I don't need this play. The white flag goes up. I return to my team. But I agree with what you're saying, Hawk. That on the face of it, you know, the gold lead hasn't really grown significantly over the past 10 or so minutes for Kabum, and it might change now as the fight is committed onto Ravens. Had to lose some summoners already. They really want this Kai'Sa.
Oh,
they found the knockers
hits.
on the Weaver's wall, and Root picks up the Raven kill. And just that, just as we say it, suddenly the Baron's pretty much going to go down.
I have no idea how that Rakan knocked up a... Oh, no. Crastiel.
Yeah, Crastiel. He's burning. He'll probably live here, but he is out of commission, and this Baron has to go down.
And that's just the thing. Kabum, they try to group up on a mid-wave, and Loud pulls the trigger. Loud, they had the mid-game comp, so I was getting a little bit worried about the slow pace, but their lead was most certainly secure. It certainly is now that they've taken the Baron as well. That's 7,000, and I really want to see a replay of that engage, because I have no idea how that Rakan knock-up hit Raven.
Yeah, it seems like he might have been trapped kind of on top of Weaver's wall at one point. You can kind of get stuck in it if it comes out underneath you while you're CC'd over it. So it was a bit of a tricky one for Raven to get away with. He lost both the summoners. Didn't get a chance to use the ultimate. Without the Kai'Sa, there's just not really any chance. We haven't really seen Raven get a chance to have any kind of impact on this game without a 5v5 to play with, and here's that fight again.
Yeah, I mean, Raven just frontlining ahead of Redbird. I just can't understand how you're there. And yeah, Seos somehow, like, the circle was able to get wide enough, so it was past the Weaver's wall, just the tip, hitting Raven, and that guaranteed seismic shove in the kill. So nicely done by the support of Loud. Okay, he gets one.
Yeah, it is going to work out for Linley. He's going to find that kill onto Robo. After working so hard to try and catch this Croc out, they will finally get it done, but Root in the mid lane, bashing away with the Baron minions, isn't really fussed.
Early sprint Robo had to show up just for a second right there. Get caught out, you know, delay the Baron push. He still gets a tier 3 rather, in mid, so, I mean, honestly, like, not even the worst trade. Might have even just been drawing pressure for his team. Obviously, deaths, you try to avoid those, and I might be giving him too much credit, but it's worth, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's just the Robo thing, right? So this is the thing with the Robo thing, where it's always like, but it's Robo. He's just doing a Robo thing. He's just dying, and, you know, I find it struggling sometimes to be like, what? But he did just throw it. He just run it down. Like, let's be real. Even though his name is Robo, he's still running it down. Robo!
Just go do something
on here?
His team's gonna do soul. Oh, maybe not.
Into Raven, and now they're peeling back onto Croc, and Raven goes into commit for it. He is so dead right now, unless Root can push them away with the Featherstorm. He goes down, but it's traded for Carry and Sales with a little lovely knock-up. Kabum retreat back to the tower, and I refuse to call it planned and worth and good because it looked so bad, Hawk.
I choose to believe the comms were loud right there, where Robo just said, I'm TPing, and his team was like, wait, what? And he's like, I'm TPing. And they just followed up. Who needs soul when you can get a couple kills? They should be able to find the inhibitor turret. Croc working on that dragon anyway. And, oh, hang on, a TP coming in from Lonely. It's getting a little dicey.
This is a little sketchy right now. Crasio and Scary could try to chase him through the river, and Lonely may have Croc's number before his team can even help him. He's pretty low now. Scary's going to have time to rotate over. Lonely has to stay safe, though.
Yeah. Kaboom's respawn.
He's been knocked up. Oh, he's been jumping away with the hop and the crunch, but Root chasing him down.
Ooh.
With the ignites, not enough to find the kill, but with no TP, Lonely's out of this fight.
Timing the flash, though, gets him out. It's still going to be Soul. Kaboom not able to contest. And Trajan, there's something called, you know, I'm sure many people here on the CBLOL would have heard of the player named Huni, who played in the LEC, LCS, LCK. Yep. There's something called a Huni Baron, where you just send your top laner to, like, completely sprint it on a side lane, bot lane, and then do Baron while they're inting. I feel like Robo picked up a bit of playmaking from the Huni school of thought of, I'm just going to run it down in a side lane and let my team do stuff while I do that.
Well, Huni was a T1 top laner. Robo's just trying to embody that. You know, he's like, I could be Huni for you. If you want a Huni, I can do Huni.
I mean, what?
Yeah, like, I could do that. I could just TP bot lane into 5 people and if you want to do something about that. You know, we can do that for you. But Loud, instead, they did not take the soul there. As he said, they were going to get soul. They actually peeled down and tried to fight, and instead tried to bail him out as best as they can. So maybe the rest of Loud were not yet clued in to the T1 tactics as Robo is.
Robo is definitely the top laner in solo queue games that types team and chat, like when he dies 1v4 or whatever, and it's like, bro, we don't have pushing weight, like what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like, bro, 5-man bot lane, why are we getting on the map? Why we not get tower top, you know? It's just like, well,
sorry, I was buying Infinity Edge, like my bad.
Yeah, sorry about that. As we do return to the push right here, the Azir tower's going up to delay that a little bit, but a couple of exposed inhibitors. Loud just need to find the angle to get that pressure through. But without the Baron, they don't have great range across the team there. And Kabum can push it away with the Kai'Sa Ws, with those Azir soldiers as well.
Kabum is holding on somewhat, but I mean, just against Infernal Soul, I still don't see them ever winning a fight, Trajan. And they have a composition that was built to do that. Lonely, as we highlighted in draft, needed to be able to contend in the one-on-one to have some pressure, and that hasn't happened either. As sure, he's topping the damage charts, but he's not going to beat Robo, who is Infernal sold up. And if you can't win the 5v5, you can't win the 4v4 and the 1v1. What is Kabum to do when Baron is spawning in 40 seconds?
Yeah, we need to forge a path through the jungle. You can see Redbird on a little exploratory mission. They can get some of their own safe vision down to make sure they're not at risk of a Loud flank, and then try to just front to back as best as possible and pray, I'll be honest. Seems to be the only thing to do. And against Loud, prayer rarely is enough.
Very, very true. And Loud, I mean, you know, I don't think this result will be unexpected, assuming they hold on today, but again, want to put themselves in sole possession of 4th place with only 2 weeks to play and a fairly simple strength of schedule remaining for them. They have none of the top 3 above them left to play. INDZ, a bit of a test maybe to lock up that 4th seed, but I think it is expected that they should be able to win out and finish atop the standings, as this Baron play might just be where the line is drawn.
Kabum have made their way in close. Lonely's got the Mega Art stacking up. Daisy's already fallen. Nice ult from Redbird, but Tenno's on the side. Gets a lot of damage onto Crashiel. He's had to defensively shifting sands away. Baron resets, is now allowed fully peeled away, but don't find the kills. They'll head back to the objective now. So far, Kabum lost a man.
They just have to give. Lonely just lost Mega and multiple ults down for Kabum as well. They're still trying, but I don't think they can win here anymore.
Weaver's wall slows him down even further, and that seals the deal. Loud, again, playing it so calmly, so collected, pushing Kabum back at every turn, isolating members, blocking the passive retreat and the passive advance. Seos not finding the flank just yet. Robo clearing up the wave. Kabum do have a united front to present, and Loud can just walk away with their buff.
Really well played from Crastiel to deny the Ingram Seos right there. He was looking for the flank, but not able to find it. And I want to give Tinones a lot of credit. You know, it's been a pretty quiet game from him, 2-0-2. It's just not been that explosive, but showing why Talio was one of his most played in the last split. 7 games on that, as these Weaver's walls have just been quality. Denying the Baron, one of them used to get a pick on Lonely earlier as well, and it's been a nice game from the mid laner of Lab, definitely contributing to the 10,000 gold lead that they've amassed for themselves.
Yeah, it's a no-notes game, you know? It's just like, yep, that was good. No suggestions. Everything you did,
that is
was the right
exactly
thing to do.
it, yes.
Yeah, keep doing that. We love that for you. As Loud, with their Baron buff in tow, now going to head back to this bot lane and mid lane with the exposed inhibitors. You can see the Azir tower has just fallen as well, so the extra line of defense will not be available for a little while. Let's see if with this buff, a bit more success. They found the engage already. Onto the front line, and Redbird has fallen to root. No age, no peel, the 4 versus 5. Kabum have a mighty task ahead of them. Ooh, they can stand onto Robo. Raven with the damage to follow up. Almost gets it, but not quite with the passive. And the shuffle comes back. Seos is there. Scary drops, and Raven running for the hills. Kabum, the carries are still alive. But Tinones again holding them back, funneling them into the fountain. And Robo got away with murder there, but he will happily type easy, TP back into the mid lane, and Loud look to finish up this game.
Yes, they will, Trajan. 4th place is now theirs with 4 games to play. Kabum, they're going to try to defend their Nexus, but it's moot. Loud with the win in game 4 of today.
It's just kind of done so right there. A decent effort for Kabum, a nice draft, a strong comp that we